Motorcycle sales just dropped by 9% in 6 months, the worst market collapse in a decade. But what if I told you that 12 specific motorcycles are about to become financially radioactive by 2026? Bikes that dealers won't touch, models that manufacturers are quietly abandoning, machines that will lose most of their value overnight because of regulatory execution, catastrophic reliability failures, and market forces that are creating a perfect storm. In this video, we're counting down the 12 motorcycles that won't make it past 2026 based on hard sales data, regulatory mandates, and documented mechanical nightmares. And trust me, some of these are bikes you probably considered buying. The number one motorcycle on this list is so doomed that even the manufacturer has already pulled the plug. Stay until the end, because this isn't speculation. This is data that could save you from making a $15,000 mistake. Number 12, Triumph Bonneville Bobber. The Triumph Bonneville Bobber sits in a dangerous position. It's a specialized niche bike in a market that's contracting fast. The cruiser segment is already experiencing a sales slump across the United States, and the Bobber represents the worst possible combination: high initial cost, low practicality, and oversupply in the used market. Here's the reality. The used motorcycle market is in full-on free fall right now. Resale values are dropping faster than they have in years because of post-pandemic oversupply and economic conditions that have buyers sitting on their wallets. When you combine that with a bike that's already specialized, already expensive, and already competing against dozens of other cruisers in showrooms, you get a depreciation nightmare. The Bobber isn't unreliable. That's not the problem. The problem is that it's a luxury purchase in a category where buyers are choosing practical, proven machines over style. When financing rates are sitting at 9 to 10% for prime borrowers and can hit 18% for subprime buyers, discretionary purchases like a single-seat Bobber with limited functionality become impossible to justify. As dealerships slash prices on last season's inventory to make room for new models, the Bobber's residual value is getting crushed. By 2026, the combination of market saturation, high depreciation risk, and limited buyer pool will make this bike commercially unviable for anyone who wants to sell it later. Number 11, Kawasaki Eliminator. The Kawasaki Eliminator is a recent entry into the cruiser market, and it's already showing up on unreliability reports. That's a death sentence for any new model. When a motorcycle can't establish a reputation for dependability in its first years on the market, it's done. Consumer reports are flagging the Eliminator with mechanical skepticism despite its newness. That suggests early issues like chronic overheating, electrical failures, or premature component wear. These are the kinds of problems that destroy buyer confidence permanently. Here's why this matters. The Eliminator was designed to capture younger, entry-level riders. These buyers are extremely sensitive to maintenance costs because they're already stretching their budgets to afford the bike in the first place. When word spreads through forums and owner groups that a bike has reliability problems, those buyers disappear. The cruiser market is already slumping. Sales data shows traditional cruisers are losing ground every quarter. Now add reliability concerns to a bike that's supposed to be affordable and accessible, and you've created a commercial liability. By 2026, the Eliminator will be sitting on dealer floors with massive price cuts, while buyers choose proven alternatives from Honda and Yamaha instead. Kawasaki needed this bike to succeed. Instead, it's becoming another cautionary tale about rushing a product to market without proper quality control. Number 10, Indian Chief. The Indian Chief represents a flagship heavy cruiser that's facing a credibility crisis. It's being cited in consumer reports as one of the most unreliable motorcycles going into 2025, and it's predicted to be worthless by 2026. This is devastating for Indian. The Chief line represents the brand's attempt to compete directly with Harley-Davidson in the premium cruiser segment. These are expensive machines marketed as long-distance touring platforms. When a premium bike starts getting flagged for mechanical problems, the entire value proposition collapses. Heavy cruiser buyers expect reliability. They're paying top dollar specifically because they want a machine that can handle cross-country trips without leaving them stranded. When the Chief starts showing up on unreliability lists, those buyers lose faith fast. The problem is compounded by market conditions. Tight consumer budgets and high financing rates mean buyers are unwilling to tolerate maintenance risk on a bike that already costs a premium. They'll choose a used Harley with a proven track record over a new Chief with documented reliability concerns. Indian built its modern reputation on quality and heritage. The Chief's reliability failures are undermining both. By 2026, these bikes will face rapid depreciation as buyers migrate toward competitors with better long-term ownership experiences. Number 9. Indian Scout 60. The Indian Scout 60 should have been a success story. It's the entry point for the Indian brand, designed to bring new riders into the family. Instead, it's facing a safety recall that affects 100% of the early 2025 lineup. Let that sink in. 100% recall rate. 4,926 units in the United States alone. The defect involves a software issue where the gear position indicator falsely displays neutral when the motorcycle is actually in gear. That's a critical safety failure. This recall signals severe quality control deficiencies during the transition to the 2025 platform. For a brand like Indian that relies on heritage and perceived quality to justify premium pricing, this is catastrophic. It generates widespread consumer skepticism about long-term mechanical and electronic reliability. Here's what happens next. These recalled models are going to flood the used market with documented histories of software vulnerability. Buyers doing basic research will see the recall data and walk away. The bikes that do sell will command significantly lower prices because of the risk premium. Make sure to hit that subscribe button because we're about to reveal motorcycles with even worse problems, including one that's already been killed by the manufacturer. Indian needed the Scout 60 to build brand loyalty among new riders. Instead, it's creating a generation of buyers who will never trust the brand again. By 2026, these bikes will be commercial poison in the used market. Number 8. Harley-Davidson Street 500. The Harley-Davidson Street 500 was discontinued in the United States by 2021, but it's still circulating in the used market, and it's becoming worthless fast. The Street 500 was part of Harley's attempt at an affordable entry-level platform. It failed spectacularly. The bike was manufactured outside the United States, which damaged brand perception immediately. Harley buyers expect American-made machines, and the Street 500 felt like a betrayal of that expectation. But the real killer was execution. The Street 500 suffers from harsh ride quality, poor braking performance, even after attempted fixes, and safety hazards like short mirror stems that limit visibility. Early models didn't even include basic features like fuel gauges. The reliability issues are persistent and expensive to fix. Harley-Davidson parts are notoriously expensive, and the low sales volume of the Street 500 means specialized part support is dwindling. When a major repair is needed, the cost rapidly exceeds the bike's already depressed market value. This creates a spiral. Owners can't afford to fix the bikes. They try to sell them, but buyers see the reliability reports and lowball their offers. The bikes sit unsold. Values drop further. By 2026, the Street 500 will be essentially unsellable except to buyers looking for parts bikes. The combination of poor reliability, high repair costs, and rock-bottom resale values makes these motorcycles economically defunct. Number 7. Harley-Davidson Street 750. The Street 750 is the bigger sibling of the Street 500, and it shares all the same problems with a few extra issues thrown in. It's been cited as one of the least reliable motorcycles of 2024, which is remarkable considering it's been out of production since 2021. The Street 750 was a jarring leap away from classic Harley standards. It was supposed to attract younger, budget-conscious riders. Instead, it alienated traditional Harley buyers while failing to win over the new demographic it was designed for. Consumer reports detail persistent flaws across the platform. The braking system remains problematic despite multiple attempted fixes. The ride quality is harsh and uncomfortable on anything but smooth pavement. The mirror placement creates genuine safety concerns. And like its smaller sibling, early models lack basic instrumentation. Here's the financial reality. These bikes were commercial failures when they were new. Now that they're discontinued, dealer support has evaporated. Getting parts means waiting weeks or ordering from specialty suppliers at inflated prices. Labor costs at dealerships are climbing because techs don't want to work on outdated platforms. The market has already rendered its verdict. Street 750 values have cratered. Sellers are accepting massive losses just to move these bikes, and buyers are increasingly unwilling to take the risk at any price. By 2026, owning a Street 750 will mean accepting that you're holding an asset that's losing value every month while requiring expensive maintenance on a platform that dealers no longer want to service. Number 6. Yamaha VMAX. The Yamaha VMAX stopped production in 2020, but it's included on this list because it represents a perfect case study in regulatory execution. This massive 1,679 cc V4 engine was a masterpiece of performance engineering. It was also impossible to update for modern emission standards. Yamaha faced a brutal calculation. Updating the VMAX to meet North American emissions requirements would require completely redesigning the engine. The cost would push the price above $25,000, making it commercially unviable in a niche market. So Yamaha killed it, and now the remaining used models are becoming maintenance nightmares. Here's why. The VMAX was a specialized high-performance machine. That means high maintenance costs under normal circumstances. Parts are proprietary. Labor is expensive because the engine is complex. And now that it's discontinued, dealer expertise is disappearing as technicians move on to current models. The parts supply is drying up. Yamaha isn't manufacturing VMAX-specific components anymore. Third-party suppliers are limited. Owners are competing for a shrinking pool of available parts, which drives prices up. This creates a cascade effect. A bike that was already expensive to maintain becomes prohibitively expensive. Resale values drop because buyers calculate the long-term ownership costs and decide it's not worth the risk. The remaining owners are trapped holding depreciating assets that require specialist knowledge to keep running. By 2026, the VMAX will be a curiosity, a powerful machine that's too expensive to maintain and too risky to buy. The few remaining examples will trade hands among dedicated enthusiasts willing to accept the financial burden. Number 5. Honda XR650L. The Honda XR650L is a legend. 31 years of continuous production, air-cooled, carbureted, simple enough to fix on the trail with basic tools. It's been called a living fossil, and that's exactly why it won't survive 2026. Global regulatory trends are killing the XR650L. Modern emission standards require electronic fuel injection, advanced emissions controls, and often liquid cooling to meet longevity and environmental criteria. The XR650L has none of these things. For Honda to update this bike, they'd need to redesign the entire powertrain. That means losing the simplicity that makes it attractive in the first place. The current MSRP is $6,999. If Honda adds EFI, catalytic converters, and sophisticated onboard diagnostics, that price jumps past $10,000. At $10,000, the XR650L becomes commercially non-viable. It would be competing directly against modern dual sports with superior performance and technology. The entire value proposition disappears. Honda has two choices: completely redesign the bike and lose its competitive advantage, or retire it entirely. The market data suggests retirement is the only logical option. This is what regulatory execution looks like. A perfectly functional, reliable motorcycle that meets consumer needs gets killed because the cost of compliance exceeds its profit margin. The XR650L isn't failing in the market. It's being eliminated by regulations that make its continued existence financially impossible. By 2026, the XR650L will either be gone from showrooms or priced so high that buyers choose alternatives. Either way, it's dead. Number 4. Suzuki GSX R750. The Suzuki GSX R750 has already met its fate globally. Production has effectively ceased in key markets because Suzuki determined that meeting Euro 5 and upcoming Euro 7 standards was too expensive relative to expected sales volume. This is critical to understand. Motorcycle manufacturers don't develop separate engine platforms for different markets. It's too expensive. Whatever emission standards they must meet for Europe become the de facto standard for bikes sold in the United States. The GSX R750 represents a middleweight sport bike category that's been decimated by regulatory costs. Bringing these motorcycles into compliance requires advanced catalytic converters, complex ECU mapping, noise limitations, and improved durability testing. The engineering costs frequently exceed the profit margin for models that have enjoyed long production runs without major updates. Suzuki looked at the numbers and walked away. Some unsold inventory might still be sitting in US dealerships, but the supply chain is drying up. No new bikes are being manufactured. Parts support will decline as Suzuki focuses resources on current models. The GSX-R 750 was a legendary platform. It balanced middleweight agility with impressive power. But in 2026, it's a technical anachronism that can't justify the cost of survival. Owners of existing GSX-R 750s will face increasing challenges. Specialized parts will become harder to source. Dealer technicians will have less experience with the platform, and resale values will continue to decline as buyers recognize the bike is on its way to obsolescence. By 2026, the GSX-R 750 will be a museum piece, a reminder of an era when middleweight sport bikes could exist without the crushing burden of modern regulatory compliance. Number 3. Suzuki GSX-R 600. The GSX-R 600 shares the same fate as the 750. It's been killed by the same regulatory execution, but the 600 faces an even grimmer future because it competed in the most crowded segment of the sport bike market. Suzuki abandoned the GSX-R 600 because updating it for emissions compliance would destroy its competitive pricing. The entire appeal of a 600cc sport bike is that it offers serious performance at a price point below the flagship leader bikes. When regulatory costs push development expenses higher, that equation breaks. The 600cc sport bike class is dying across the industry. Yamaha discontinued the R6. The Kawasaki ZX-6R barely survived. Honda's CBR 600RR is on life support. These bikes can't generate enough sales volume to justify the engineering costs of modern compliance. The GSX-R 600 was one of the last holdouts, and now it's gone. What remains in the US market is dead stock. Unsold units sitting in dealerships. No new production, no future updates, just a slowly dwindling supply of a motorcycle that's already obsolete. The used market for GSX-R 600s will collapse by 2026. Buyers looking for 600cc sport bikes will choose the few surviving models that still have manufacturer support. The Suzuki will become an orphan platform that dealers don't want to service and buyers don't want to risk. Parts availability will decline. Performance upgrades will become harder to source. Insurance companies will start viewing these bikes as higher risk because of their discontinued status. By 2026, owning a GSX-R 600 means accepting that you're riding a bike the manufacturer has abandoned. The performance is still there, but the support infrastructure is collapsing around it. Number 2. Yamaha MT-10. The Yamaha MT-10 is facing discontinuation or severe revision because of the same emissions pressures that killed the sport bikes. But the MT-10 situation is complicated by additional factors that make its future even more uncertain. The MT-10 uses a modified version of the R1 engine. That engine is expensive to produce and increasingly difficult to certify for emissions compliance. Yamaha is looking at the sales data and seeing a niche bike that requires significant investment to keep current. The naked bike segment is competitive, and the MT-10 sits at the premium end. It competes against bikes like the Ducati Street Fighter and KTM Super Duke, both of which have stronger brand cachet in the high-performance naked category. Yamaha's challenge is that updating the MT-10 for 2026 compliance requires major investment in an engine platform that's already struggling to meet current standards. The cost-benefit analysis doesn't favor continued production. Market conditions are making this decision easier. Motorcycle sales are down sharply. Financing is expensive. Buyers are choosing practical, reliable machines over high-performance toys. The MT-10 represents exactly the kind of discretionary, niche purchase that disappears during economic contractions. There's also a reliability concern. The MT-10 has been flagged on lists of potentially problematic motorcycles going into 2025. That reputation damage accelerates depreciation even before the bike is officially discontinued. By 2026, the MT-10 will either be completely redesigned with a new engine platform, or it will join the growing list of high-performance casualties. Based on Yamaha's recent pattern of discontinuations, the latter seems more likely. Owners of current MT-10s should prepare for rapid depreciation and declining dealer support as Yamaha shifts resources to more profitable platforms. Number 1. Royal Enfield Himalayan 450. The Royal Enfield Himalayan 450 tops this list not because it's discontinued, but because it represents everything that's wrong with the adventure bike market right now. It's a new model facing immediate skepticism because of Royal Enfield's historical quality control problems combined with catastrophic timing in a contracting market. Royal Enfield has spent years trying to shake its reputation for unreliability. Previous generations of their motorcycles suffered from chronic oil leaks, electrical problems, and build quality issues that left buyers stranded. The brand has improved, but the reputation persists. The Himalayan 450 enters the market with this baggage already attached. It's competing in the adventure bike segment, which is oversaturated with established players like the KTM 390 Adventure, Kawasaki Versus X, and the upcoming Honda competitors. These bikes have proven track records. The Himalayan 450 has promises. Early reports are concerning. Adventure riders are notoriously hard on their bikes. They demand reliability in remote conditions. Any hint of quality control problems gets amplified through the tight-knit adventure riding community. The Himalayan 450 is already showing up in discussions about potential problem bikes for 2025. The market timing is catastrophic. Motorcycle sales dropped 9.2% in the first half of 2025. That's the weakest market start in a decade. Buyers are being cautious. They're choosing proven machines over new experiments. They're avoiding first-year models from manufacturers with questionable quality control histories. The adventure bike segment is particularly sensitive to these dynamics. Adventure riders invest in extensive gear, modifications, and accessories. They need confidence that the base platform will support long-term ownership. When a new model from a historically problematic manufacturer enters during a market slump, buyers simply walk away. Speaking of reliability, you need to see our breakdown of the 20 motorcycles so reliable you'll never regret buying them. These are the bikes that hold value, survive owner abuse, and keep running when everything else fails. That video reveals the machines that actually survive long-term ownership.